coordination. Working together of various integrated body systems in response to changes in the surrounding for the maintenance of bodily functions is known as control and coordination. There are two systems working on control and coordination, that is nervous system and endocrine system. Now, nervous system is made up of a brain, spinal cord and nerve cells or neurons. First, we will see the structure and function of nervous system, that is neuron. Neuron is the structural and functional unit of nervous system. It has cell body having a large nucleus. It has axon, nerve endings and dendrite. Human nervous system is divided into two parts, central nervous system and peripheral nervous system. Central nervous system consists of brain and spinal cord, and peripheral nervous system consists of nerves that connect the central nervous system to different parts of the body. Brain and spinal cord and nerves are important part of nervous system. You can see the two nervous system in our body, central nervous system and peripheral nervous system. Brain and spinal cord is a part of central nervous system, and all the nerves which is connecting to the central nervous systems are considered under peripheral nervous system. Ganglion is a structure containing a number of nerve cell bodies, typically linked by synapses and often forming a swelling on the nerve fibers. Let us have a close look on the structure of a neuron. As you know, neuron is the structural and functional unit of nervous system. Three main parts of neuron are axon, dendrite and cell body. The axon conducts message away from the cell body. The dendrite receives information from the next cell and conduct it towards the cell body. The cell body contains the nucleus, mitochondria and other cell organelles. It mainly concerns with maintenance and growth of the cell. Arrangement of neurons. Neurons are arranged end to end, forming a chain. This helps in continuous transmission of impulses. From one neuron, impulses is transmitted to another neuron. Each neuron receives an impulse through its dendrite and transmits it to the next neuron in a sequence through its axon. Neurons are not connected. There is a small gap which is known as synapse between the one neuron and dendron of the next neuron. So between two neurons there is one small gap that is known as synapse. A synapse is a muscular fiber also known as neuromuscular junction. Let us discuss working of synapse in detail. Let us discuss the types of neuron. Neurons are of three types: sensory neuron, motor neuron and relaying neuron. Sensory neurons. These are nerve cells within the nervous system responsible for converting external stimulus or changes from outside from the organism environment into internal electrical impulse. Motor neurons are nerve cells forming part of a pathway along which impulses pass from brain or spinal cord to muscles or gland. Third type of neuron is relaying neuron, carrying message from one part of central nervous system to another part. Let us remember central nervous system. CNS or central nervous system control most function of the body and mind. It consists of two parts, brain and spinal cord. The brain is center of our thought. It interprets all the data, external environment and origin of control over body movement. Let us come back how the nerve impulses travel or how the neuron interconnect with each other. The dendrite end of the neuron collect information and trigger a chemical reaction. which results in an electrical impulse. This impulse is transmitted from the dendrite to the cell body and then to the axon. From the axon, the impulse travels to its end, neuron ends, where the electrical impulse set off the release of some more chemicals. The chemical cross the synapse and start a similar electrical impulse in the dendrite of the next neuron. In this way, impulses are transmitted from one neuron to another to finally reach the brain. Endocrine glands and their function. We salivate when we see delicious food. We feel tense or anxious while making important decisions. We digest different types of food that we ingest. Children grow taller during early years of their life. Voice of boys crack during puberty. Lactation begins during motherhood. Do you know why these changes occur? How does the body control these functions? Is there any another system governing these complex functions? Now, hormones. A hormone is a chemical messenger that regulates physiological processes in the living organism. It is secreted by the gland. The regulation to the physiological processes, control and coordination by hormones is governed by the endocrine system. The nervous system along with the endocrine system in our body control and coordinate the physiological processes. Now coming to the characteristics of hormone. Hormone act as a chemical messenger. They are secreted by living cells or tissue or organs called gland. They are secreted in very small quantity by glands. They act upon specific cells, tissue or organ called target sites. They are generally slow in action but have long-lasting effects. They either accelerate or inhibit a reaction. Glands, a cell, tissue or organ that secretes these hormones required for a specific function is called a gland. We are all familiar with pancreas, pituitary gland, thyroid gland. Glands are mostly divided into two broad categories, that is endocrine gland and exocrine gland. What are these? Exocrine gland. These are glands possess duct for discharging their secretion. Duct is tube-like structure into the body surface. The sebaceous gland present in the skin, salivary gland present in the buccal cavity, gastric gland present in the wall of stomach are few examples of exocrine gland. They have duct to discharge their secretion. Now coming to endocrine gland, these glands do not discharge their secretion through duct. Hence they are ductless gland and they discharge their secretion directly into the bloodstream. Their secretions are known as hormones. The pituitary gland, thyroid gland, etc. are few examples of endocrine glands. The term hormone was first introduced by Ernest Starling. Secretin was the first hormone to be discovered. Ernest Starling and William Bayliss are credited for its discovery. Importance of hormones. We have often heard people complaining they suffer from sugar. Do you know which condition they are referring to? How we treat this condition? They are referring to the condition called diabetes. It is a chronic condition characterized by high level of sugar or glucose in the blood. What is the reason for increase in sugar in the blood? How are often activities such as sleep, hunger, stress, body temperature, etc. are regulated? There are different kinds of hormones in the human body. However, we will discuss some of them. So you can locate some of the glands: pineal gland, hypothalamus, pituitary, parathyroid gland, thymus, thyroid gland, adrenal gland, pancreas, ovary and testes. These are all endocrine glands. Now, first is pituitary gland. It is the tiny gland located near the hypothalamus of the brain. It is also known as master gland of the body, as it regulates many other endocrine glands. The gland is divided into two lobes. Anterior lobe is known as adenohypophysis and posterior lobe is known as neurohypophysis. Function of pituitary gland or master gland. It influences the secretion of other gland like thyroid gland, mammary gland, gonads, etc. It controls the excretion of water from kidney and contraction of muscles of uterus. It also influences the development of testes and ovaries. It secretes the growth hormone that is involved in growth and development of the body. Now, the secretion of growth hormone should be properly maintained in body. Over-secretion of growth hormone prior to puberty results in abnormal growth of body known as gigantism. It is categorized by excessive growth and increase in height of a person. On the other hand, its low secretion results in retarded growth, and this condition is known as dwarfism. The over-secretion of growth hormone in adults cause a disease called acromegaly. This results in excessive growth of either bones, especially in jaws, nose, hand, and legs. In this figure, you can locate some of the acromegaly patients. The growth of hand, feet, face caused by overproduction of growth hormone by the pituitary gland. Another gland is thyroid gland. The thyroid gland is situated close to the trachea in the neck region. It secretes a hormone called thyroxine. It regulates carbohydrate, fat, protein metabolism in our body. It indirectly affects the growth of the body by promoting growth and differentiation of the tissues. Hence, it is known as personality hormone. Thyroid disorders, the deficiency or excessive secretion of this hormone results in certain disorders. Thyroid disorders are of two types, hypothyroidism and hyperthyroidism. Hypothyroidism is a condition in which thyroid gland does not produce enough thyroxine to meet the normal requirement of the body. This condition causes abnormality like simple goiter, Meigs edema, and cretinism. Simple goiter, it is the deficiency of iodine in diet, and there is swelling in the neck region, enlargement due to enlargement of the thyroid gland. People living near coastal region usually suffer from this disease as seawater and soil are not rich in iodine. People suffering from goiter are suggested to increase their intake of iodine with food and water. Meigs edema, in this condition, adults due to activity of the thyroid gland, symptoms include low metabolic rate, loss of mental and physical vigor, increase in weight, thickening of the skin, and lower rate of heartbeat. This condition is cured by giving proper dose of thyroxine to the person. And third is the cretinism. It is found in mostly child born with improper thyroid gland function. The symptoms include stunted growth, mental retardation, bow legs, defective teeth, protrusion of the tongue, and loose skin. These effects can be prevented by providing proper treatment in time. Hyperthyroidism, as the word suggests, it is caused by excessive secretion of the thyroxine hormone. It results in high metabolism, protrusion of the eyeball, high blood pressure, nervous tension, irritability, profuse swelling and weight loss and fatigue. It is cured by giving proper treatment. Another gland is the parathyroid gland. There are 4 parathyroid glands present backside of thyroid gland. They secrete parathyroid hormone or PATH hormone. These hormones regulate the level of calcium ion in the bloodstream. And deficiency of this hormone results in painful muscle cramps. On the other hand, its over-secretion removes calcium from bones, making them soft and spongy. Next gland is the adrenal glands. This is also known as suprarenal glands. It is situated in the interior part of the kidneys. Each adrenal gland consists of 2 parts, outer cortex and inner medulla. The adrenal cortex secretes 2 hormones, aldosterone and cortisol, while adrenal medulla secretes hormone adrenaline, also known as epinephrine, and non-adrenaline norepinephrine hormone. In case of danger, emergency, or stress, adrenaline is secreted in large quantity to prepare the body to face the situation. That's why it is also known as emergency hormones. This hormone is secreted even in the normal situation but in very small quantities. Now, adrenaline is secreted directly into the blood as it is the part of endocrine gland and is transported to different parts of the body. The specific tissue or organ on which this hormone acts includes heart. This results in faster heartbeats. Hence, more oxygen is supplied to the muscles. The breathing rate also increases due to contraction of diaphragm and rib muscles. You can also locate the adrenal gland above the kidney. It is located. Next gland is pancreas. Pancreas is a mixed gland that is both exocrine and endocrine in function. The cells of pancreas which are endocrine in function is known as islets of Langerhans and secrete two hormones, that is insulin and glucagon. Insulin regulates the blood sugar level in the human body. It increases the permeability of cell membrane for glucose and accelerates the passage of glucose into the cell from the bloodstream. In case of deficiency of insulin, the level of glucose in blood increases and is excreted through urine. This condition is known as diabetes mellitus. Other symptoms of the disease include frequent urination and thirst. The treatment of diabetes mellitus include oral pills or injections of insulin. Other hormone is glucagon, which is antagonistic hormone to insulin and is secreted when blood glucose level is low. It helps in conversion of glucagon or stored product of glucose into glucose. This glucose is released into the blood and supplied to the tissues. You can see the location of pancreas. Gonads. Gonads, that is testes and ovaries, are both involved in producing gametes and are also endocrine in function. Testes secretes testosterone and ovaries secretes the hormone estrogen and progesterone. These are also known as male sex hormones and female sex hormones respectively. Testosterone is responsible for growth and development of male secondary sexual characters. Deficiency of testosterone results in undersexed individual whose masculine characteristics are not properly developed. Estrogen or female sex hormone is responsible for development of secondary sexual characters in female like development of mammary glands, etc. Deficiency of estrogen causes infertility. And progesterone help in regulation of menstrual cycle and maintaining pregnancy. You can see ovaries and testes. The body performs various activities. All these activities are controlled by the brain. How the brain control all activities? There are division in brain which take the control of different activities. Which organ make the nervous system? Nervous system is divided into central nervous system and peripheral nervous system. Central nervous system consists of brain and spinal cord, while peripheral consists of nerves that connect central nervous system to different parts of the body. The central nervous system receives information from all parts of the body and also send information to the muscles. Communication between central and body part is facilitated by nerves of peripheral nervous system. You can see the parts of nervous system. Central nervous system consists of brain, spinal cord. Peripheral nervous system consists of cranial nerve and spinal nerve. And autonomic nervous system consists of sympathetic nerve and parasympathetic nerve. The central nervous system consists of brain and spinal cord. Brain is enclosed in a bony box known as cranium, and spinal cord is protected by vertebral column. The brain and spinal cord are externally covered by protective covering called meninges. It is made up of three layers, namely dura mater or outer layer, arachnoid middle layer, and pia mater inner layer. The space between meninges is filled with watery liquid known as cerebrospinal fluid. This fluid flows from brain to spinal cord and back to brain. It acts as shock absorber and protect brain from injuries. It also provides nutrient to the cells in brain and spinal cord. You can see brain and spinal cord. Human brain. It is the main coordinating center. It is a part of nervous system which control and monitor every organ of the body. Weight of brain in adult is 1400 grams. Different region of brain is forebrain, midbrain and hindbrain. You can locate forebrain, midbrain and hindbrain. Forebrain is main thinking part of the brain. It consists of cerebrum, thalamus, hypothalamus. Forebrain has sensory regions also which receive sensory impulses from various receptors. It has motor region which control movement of various muscles. They are separate area in the forebrain, specialized for hearing, smelling, seeing, general sensations such as pain, touch, taste, etc. Parts of forebrain. First is cerebrum. Cerebrum is the largest part of brain and 4/5 of its weight is covered by the cerebrum. It is divided by deep cleft into two equal parts called left and right cerebral hemisphere. Cerebrum has two regions, an outer cortex and inner medulla. The inner cortex is made up of cytons that give it grayish appearance and it is known as gray matter. Medulla composed of nerve fibers that give it an opaque white appearance due to presence of myelin sheath covering. It is known as white matter. The cortex is provided with ridges called convolutions that increase the surface area of the cerebrum. The well-developed cortex is responsible for high degree of intelligence in the humans. The information obtained through sense organ is stored in cerebrum and used when needed. A certain part of cerebrum primarily control intelligence, learning, memory, emotions, consciousness, thinking and ability to articulate speech. The forebrain is also known as main thinking part of the brain. In cerebrum, the nerves comes from right side of the body connected to the left side of cerebral hemisphere and vice versa. You can locate cerebrum. Diencephalon is also part of forebrain located below the cerebrum. It includes both thalamus and hypothalamus. Thalamus is situated between cerebral cortex and midbrain. It receives impulses from sense organs and transmit them to upper region. It coordinates the sensor and motor signaling. And the hypothalamus contains many area that control body temperature, urge for eating and drinking. Some region of cerebrum along with hypothalamus are involved in regulation of sexual behavior and expression of emotional reactions such as excitement, pleasure, fear, etc. You can see in the location of diencephalon, right thalamus, hypothalamus and left thalamus. Midbrain. It is a small region of the brain that connects cerebrum with the hindbrain. It has regions that are concerned with the sense of sight and hearing. Some region of midbrain transmit motor impulses to the limbs. Third part of the brain is hindbrain. Now, there are many parts in the hindbrain: pons varolii, cerebrum, medulla oblongata. Pons varolii consist of nerve fibers that connect various portions like cerebrum, cerebellum, and medulla oblongata of the brain. It has control center for facial expression, respiration, mastication, etc. Among the 12 pairs of cranial nerve, 4 pairs originate from pons varolii. The cerebrum. Cerebellum, it is a part of hindbrain, is responsible for maintaining posture of the equilibrium of the body. It also coordinates the voluntary muscles according to the direction of the cerebrum. And medulla is the posterior most part of the brain and is connected to the spinal cord. Most involuntary actions such as heartbeat, blood pressure, movement of food in alimentary canal, salivation, etc. are controlled by the medulla of the hindbrain. You can see the hindbrain in this picture. The second part of central nervous system is spinal cord. Spinal cord, it is the continuation of medulla oblongata and run through the vertebral column. The spinal cord is made up of two similar halves fused together to form a central canal containing the cerebrospinal fluid. The outer portion of the spinal cord is called white matter, which consists of nerve fibers, and inner portion contains cell bodies of the neurons and is called gray matter. There are 31 pairs of spinal nerves that arise from spinal cord. The nerves are divided into branches that reach to several parts of the body like heart, lungs, stomach, urinary bladder, etc. The movement of limbs in the body controlled by spinal cord through reflex actions. The spinal cord tapers at the end at the vertebra where from a collection of nerve roots originate, which are horse-tail-like appearance and hence called the cauda equina. This is pic of cross section of spinal cord. You can locate the central canal, white matter, gray matter, dorsal root, spinal nerve, ventral root. Protection of brain and spinal cord. Brain being an important organ require protection. Therefore, it is enclosed in bony box called cranium. The brain inside the brain box is surrounded by fluid-like material. It is known as cerebrospinal fluid, which act as shock absorber and thus provide further protection to the brain. Spinal cord is also protected by bony vertical rod with several curves called vertebral column. Some of the facts: brain transmits message at 240 miles per hour. There are 10 million nerves in our brain. Brain used more than 25% of oxygen consumed by human body. As compared to other organisms, the ant has largest brain in relation to its body. Let us talk about peripheral nervous system. It consists of nerves arising from brain and the spinal cord, which links to the central nervous system to the rest of the body. It consists of two types of nerve, cranial nerve and spinal nerve. Cranial nerves. There are 12 pairs of cranial nerves that emerge from brain and reach to the organ in the head region. Second is the spinal nerve. There are 31 pairs of spinal nerve that emerge from the spinal cord and reach to various parts of the body. Now the messages are transferred from brain to the spinal cord and then to the rest of the body. And similar messages from the rest of the body reaches to spinal cord, from where they are transmitted to brain, and the spinal cord also control all reflex actions. Talking about autonomic nervous system, the autonomic nervous system help to carry out the orders of medulla, which control the vital body functions. It consists of two networks, that is sympathetic nervous system and parasympathetic nervous system. Sympathetic nerves lead to all vital internal organs and glands. They regulate the action of smooth muscles such as stomach, intestine and heart. And parasympathetic is made up of vagus and pelvic nerves. The sympathetic system speeds up the body function and prepares the body for combat and escape, while the parasympathetic system contracts to that of the sympathetic system and slow down the body function. External change is received by sense organ. It is transmitted through the sensory nerve to spinal cord. Then spinal cord receives the message and instruct the motor nerve, and motor nerve transmit the information to effector or muscle glands, and then response is done by muscles. What happens when the following takes place? Bright light is focused on our eyes. We accidentally touch a flame. We are hungry and we think about our favorite meal. For all the situations above mentioned, the response will be quick and automatic. We would close our eyes immediately when bright light is focused on our eyes. When we touch the flame, we withdraw our hand from the flame. When we feel hungry, we start salivating on thinking about our favorite meal. This autonomic action or responses provoked by stimulus or external change is known as reflex action. The responses of nervous system can be classified into voluntary, involuntary and reflex actions. First is voluntary actions. The actions that are controlled voluntarily means according to our will. The signal or message for these actions is passed to brain, and therefore they are consciously controlled. On the other hand, movement of food in the alimentary canal or contraction and relaxation of blood vessels are involuntary actions. That is, they are not consciously controlled by us. And the final is reflex actions, however, show sudden responses and do not involve any thinking. This means that unlike involuntary actions, these are not under the control of the brain. Reflex arc. When we accidentally touch a hot object, we withdraw our hand immediately without thinking. If we do not do this, our hand will burn. The sensory nerve detect the heat. They are connected to the nerve which move the muscles of the hand. Such a connection of detecting a signal from the nerves and responding it immediately or giving output immediately is called reflex arc. In other words, it is a pathway along which nerve impulse travel during the reflex action. A reflex arc makes instant and autonomic responses possible. It connects the input nerve and output nerve and meet in a bundle in the spinal cord. In fact, nerves from all over the body meet in a bundle in the spinal cord on their way to brain. Therefore, information input reaches the brain. The reflex arc consists of 5 distinct parts, and these are receptor. It includes sense organ that receive stimulus. Then sensory neuron. It conducts the nerve impulse from receptor to spinal cord or the brain. Association neuron. It helps to transmit nerve impulse from sensory neuron to motor neuron. Fourth is motor neuron. It transmits nerve impulse to the effector organs like muscle or gland. And fifth is effector. It includes muscles or gland where action takes place in response to stimulus. Type of reflexes. Ivan Pavlov classified all reflex responses in two main categories: unconditional and conditional reflexes. First is unconditional reflexes. These are inborn, unconscious responses to a given stimuli which are transferred to next generation as well. Some of example are unconditional responses are blinking of eyes when an object is brought very close to the eye, etc. Conditional reflex, when such responses are acquired during the lifetime of an individual. These responses are different for different organisms. These responses can be easily induced or lost depending upon the environmental condition. Conditional reflexes are controlled by cerebral cortex. Some of example of conditional required reflexes are learning, playing piano, typing on a computer, etc. Feedback mechanism regulate the action of hormones. Example, the glucose present in blood broken down to produce energy required for the body. If it is present in excess amount in the blood, it is converted into the stored form of glycogen. Now, how does the body know when to convert glucose into glycogen or to break down glycogen into glucose? So, hormone control most physiological reaction. How is the timing and quantity of hormone release is regulated? Is there any mechanism to control the system? So, answer is the endocrine glands secrete hormones depending on the need of the organism. The amount of hormones secreted should be an accurate amount. The regulation of quantity of hormones and the timing of its release is controlled by the feedback mechanism. There are basically two types of feedback mechanism: positive mechanism and negative feedback mechanism. First, positive feedback. In this mechanism, the response accelerates after the feedback. Example, the effect is further intensified in the same direction. It helps in speeding up the process occurring in various body systems. It is opposite of negative feedback. Negative feedback, in this mechanism, the information given by the feedback cause a reverse response. It occurs when system need to slow down or completely stop a process. To understand the positive and negative feedback mechanism, let us consider two examples. First is childbirth. Birth. Now, uterine contraction occurs during the onset of labor pain. These contractions stimulate the release of a specific hormone called oxytocin from the pituitary gland, which intensify the contraction. The contraction further stimulates the production of oxytocin, and this cycle stops after the birth of the baby. This is the example of positive feedback. Second is insulin. When you consume a carbohydrate-rich diet, it is digested into glucose, we all know. The glucose is then absorbed by the blood. This results in increase in blood sugar level and lead to stimulation of the pancreas to secrete insulin. Now, insulin stimulates the target cell to take up the extra glucose from the blood. This glucose is either used during respiration or stored as glycogen. Thus, the level of glucose in the blood is maintained. This is example of negative feedback. You can see in this negative feedback loop, endocrine gland releases the hormone release is increased, then metabolite level drop, and then hormone, if it is decreased, hormone release is decreased, then increased level of metabolic or stimulating hormone is there. Let us come across some facts. Insulin was first extracted from dog pancreas in 1921 in the University of Toronto. Human insulin, humulin, is produced by using human gene in the bacterium called Escherichia coli or E. coli. Function of hormones: to regulate the metabolic activities, to regulate morphogenic activities such as growth, development, etc., to regulate mental activities, growth, maturation, reproductive activities, etc., to control the activities of other endocrine glands, and to maintain the homeostasis or equilibrium. In animals, control and coordination is governed by nervous system, we have seen. However, plants do not have any nervous system. Then how do plants respond to stimulus or external change? Plants respond to stimuli by showing the movement. What is a stimuli? A thing or event that evoke a specific functional reaction in an organism or tissue. Have you ever seen any movement in plants? Now, when you touch a sensitive plant such as touch me not or Mimosa pudica, the plant folds its leaves. Second example, when a seed germinates, the root grows down to the soil and stem grows up. In the first example, by responding to stimuli, touch shows movement by folding leaves. In second example, the seed germinate and show directional movement. In first example, movement is independent of growth. However, in the second example, movement is dependent on growth. Thus, plant exhibit both growth dependent and growth independent movement. Growth independent movements. In plant, like animals, the information is carried from cell by electrochemical means. However, there is no specialized tissue for the conduction of information. In fact, plants change their shape by changing the amount of water in them. This results in swelling and shrinking. This change of shape results in movement. Touch me not plant is also showing growth independent movement. Growth dependent movement. You must have seen plants such as pea and grapes with tendrils. Movement in this plant occur in the growing stem of the tendrils. When the tendrils come in contact with supporting object, they coil and cling around it. Plant respond to stimuli slowly by growing in a particular direction. This type of growth is directional growth. Nastic movement in plants. Nastic movements are movement in plant that take place in response to environmental stimulus. One of the features of nastic movement is that the direction of the movement is independent of the direction of stimulus. For example, movement of organ like leaves and petals that are directed by the touch, as in leaflets of touch me not, wherein the plants droop when touched from any side. Do you know the Venus flytrap is an insectivorous plant in which leaves act as a trap lobes? The movement of these lobes for trapping the insects is an example of complex movement in the plants. Now, tropic movements in plant. Tropism is the response to stimuli which comes from one direction. If the movement of plant part is towards the stimuli, it is called the positive tropism, and if the movement of the plant is away from the stimulus, it is called negative tropism. Type of tropism are phototropism, geotropism, chemotropism, and hydrotropism. First is phototropism. As the word suggests, photo means light, tropism means movement. The growth movement in plants in response to light stimulus is known as phototropism. For example, flower head of a sunflower. Positively phototropic movement is seen. It can be seen from the movement from east to west along with the sun. The shoot shows positive phototropism while the root shows negative phototropism. Why fruit like groundnuts are formed underground? The ovary stalk of groundnut is positively phototropic before fertilization and becomes negatively phototropic after fertilization. This is the reason why fruit like groundnuts are formed underground. Now you can clearly see the phototropism in case of this mung beans. Shoot is showing the positive phototropic response and roots are showing the negative phototropism. Geotropism. The growth movement of plant in response to force of gravity is called geotropism. In geotropism, shoot grow up and root grows down the ground. Now, chemotropism, the growth movement in plant in response to chemical stimuli is known as chemotropism. For example, growth of pollen tube towards the ovule in the ovary is example of positive chemotropism. Hydrotropism, growth of the parts of plant in response to water. For example, root of some plants grow towards the water source even when the water source is not present directly below it. Now you can see the chemotropism in pollen tube. Phytohormones. Phyto means plant. Plant hormones are known as phytohormones. In plants, growth, development and response to the environment is controlled and coordinated by a special class of chemical substance known as phytohormones. These hormones are produced in one part of the plant body and are translocated to other part. For example, a hormone produced in the root is translocated to the other part where they are required. Thus, the growth hormone of the plant is called phytohormones. They are naturally occurring organic substances. They are synthesized in the very minute quantities in one part of the plant body and are translocated to other part where they are required. Types of phytohormones are auxins, gibberellins, cytokinins, abscisic acid and ethylene. First, auxins. When the growing part of phototropic plant detects sunlight, auxins synthesized at the shoot tip help the cell grow longer. When the light falls on the other side of the plants, the auxin generally diffuse towards the shaded side of the shoot. This stimulates the cell in the shaded area to grow longer than the corresponding cells which are in the illuminated region. This results in the curvature of the plant stem or tip towards the light. Second is gibberellin. They are produced in the root of the plant. They promote stem elongation by promoting cell division in the internodal region. Cytokinin, they promote cell division. Therefore, they are present in greater concentration in those areas of the plant where rapid cell division takes place. Example, tip of the shoot. Abscisic acid. It promotes seed dormancy by inhibiting cell growth. It involves in the opening and closing of stomata. It is also responsible for shedding of the leaves. Ethylene. It regulates fruit ripening. It is produced during ripening of the fruits. Fruit ripening, ethereal or ethophon liquid is sprayed on plants to facilitate fruit ripening. It contains a dilute solution 2-chloroethyl phosphonic acid which break down to release ethylene. It helps in the artificial ripening of commercially grown fruits such as pineapple, mangoes, bananas, etc. How is over-ripening prevented? Carbon dioxide in high concentration prevent over-ripening of fruits as it inhibits the production of ethylene. Along with 5 plant hormones, do you know that a 6th category of plant hormone has been recently discovered? This new category of hormone is properly known as steroids. Steroids are not only involved in growth but also in regulation of plant activities such as response to stress, invading pathogen, etc.